it just makes no sense on every level. And the reason why I'm asking it on this case is Charles Robinson, Yahoo Sports here. Do they not like Tua? And no, it's nothing to do with Tua. That has nothing to do with it. It's Deshaun Watson, but it's not Deshaun Watson. It's Deshaun Watson and all of that baggage and all of the question marks that come around with him. All things being equal, there's no conversation. Of course, you go get Deshaun Watson. But all things being equal, Deshaun Watson wasn't going to be available, under the circumstances of January through March, once March hit and everything that came out. So what do you hear about Tua? Because I didn't even hear that Tua would be going back to Houston in a trade.
No, you wouldn't. Right? Yeah, I don't. From my discussions with my sources in Houston, Tua would not be included in part of that deal. That they weren't interested in Tua. They weren't interested in Jalen Hurts. When those Sam Darnold, all these different things. So,
wow.
I can't speak to what specifically. The evaluation is internally in Miami on Tua, although I can say that there's no question in the minds of the decision makers in Miami. He's taken the steps that they expect. They drafted him to improve. To every how it is. You draft a kid like that, it's not going to be perfect, and everybody's not going to be Justin Herbert walk in and light the league on fire. Even Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions his rookie season.
Right.
You're going to want to see the positive steps. Does he continue to make the same mistakes over and over? Does he have the right mentality in the meeting room? Is he the leader we thought he was? Is he tough? Is he gritty? You talked to Mac Jones, and all I heard leading in that draft was, that extra bit of, chippiness and leadership, and Mac Jones talking trash with Nick Saban when he's running the scout team and things like that. So, there's this whole other side of the mental element of a quarterback and how he fits inside your culture that you have to evaluate as well. Well, the Dolphins have to make that decision about Tua. Now, that said, it looks like he has done, up until this point, everything that they would ask. But I will say this, too. This is something I've said before, but I'll reiterate it. When the season started last year, most Rams fans wouldn't have believed that Jared Goff wouldn't be a Ram, come the middle of the offseason. I think 49ers fans had questions about Jimmy Garoppolo, but I don't think there was any clarity that, hey, they're going to draft a kid with the third pick and Jimmy's days are going to be numbered. Carson Wentz, there was no thought process at the beginning of last season that Carson Wentz wasn't going to, work back into what they thought he could be, that MVP level player years ago, all these things. Things change and evaluations change. And I think, if anything, if Sean McVay's shown us anything, if Kyle Shanahan's shown us anything, David Tepper pulling the plug on Teddy so quickly, Teddy Bridgewater, has shown us anything. There's a mentality in the NFL right now amongst some aggressive decision makers that, do I feel like this is a quarterback I can win a Super Bowl with? And if it's either a question mark or a no, what are we doing here? And I think from a talent standpoint, again, if Brian Flores is looking at Deshaun Watson saying it's a yes, it's definitely a yes, am I going to have an opportunity to go out and get a kid like this again? And oh, by the way, he has an extension that, as these other quarterback deals roll in, it's looking better every single year. And it's going to look a lot better when Justin Herbert signs his extension and the era of, quarterback salaries are rolling into. So there are other things to measure, and it doesn't necessarily mean Tua is a bad player, but have we forgotten what our opinion was of Deshaun Watson in January, in February?
I'm sorry.
We have.
So just to repeat, Texans, in your estimation, have not in any of these trades, that with Carolina knocking on the door and the Eagles knocking on the door and anybody else, uninterested in taking the other team's quarterback back in the trade. Not at all. Just want draft picks.
I've been told no, that it's a no, that they want to move forward. They draft a quarterback in the third round.
Yeah. Davis Mills. That's what it is. Or they use all these the capital that they're getting from other teams to go, make sure they get Spencer Rattler or whatever the hell they want. Like that's their potential mindset in Houston.
I think part of it's the evaluation of other quarterbacks too. How did they feel about these other quarterbacks? I mean, it's that plays into it as well. And they're also in the midst of, as you said, whatever the compensation would be. Let's say it's 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. That's compensation to reposition yourself in the draft if you see the quarterback you like. As we saw this last offseason, quarterbacks now migrate in the NFL, quarterbacks that we wouldn't expect. And, maybe Nick Caserio is sitting here, and again, this particular point I'm about to make is speculation. Maybe Nick Caserio says, I can build out a strong roster, and who knows? Aaron Rodgers, it looks like Aaron Rodgers may be someone that could enter the trade market, come the off season, depending on what happens in Green Bay with a setup there. The Saints have a starting quarterback in Jameis Winston that, you can resolve your quarterback situation without necessarily having to, include a guy in the deal now. And I know it would make sense to me. And I thought all along it would make sense, particularly once Miami surfaced in January, February. Oh, well, Tua would be a part of a package to come back. But that has not been what I've been told when I've had conversations with people inside Houston, that no, it would be picks. We want a package of picks. And if it's not, if it's picks and players, I think they would be looking for like starting caliber defensive players on top of picks.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.